friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney and today's video is yet another book haul. Even though this book haul is entirely impromptu, didn't plan on it happening, didn't plan on buying this many books today, but it's the best kind of book haul because every single one of the books that I'm going to talk about today is from one of my local indie bookstores here in the city. They have a very good selection of books and I was really having to restrain myself from buying more than what I did because they had so much. They had so many books that I really want to get. And I'm just like, I'm looking at all of them. There are some really good ones here, so I'm really excited to talk about all of them. The first book that I bought is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have read Elizabeth Acevedo's two other books which are told in verse and they are absolutely fantastic and I'm expecting this one to be no different. However, it is a little bit different because this one is actually told in like a classic like storybook novel style. So I know that I will miss her verse, but I am excited to see this format from her as well. In this story, we follow our main character, Imani, who became pregnant her freshman year with her daughter, and since then has been making the tough decisions to better her life for her daughter, as well as her abuela. And the only place that she really finds solace and can really let go is in the kitchen. Even though Imani has always dreamed of working in a kitchen after she graduates, Imani knows that it's not worth her time to pursue the impossible. Yet, despite the rules she's made for her life and everyone else's rules, which she refuses to play by, once Imani starts cooking, her only choice is to let her talent break free. And I just have to say, Elizabeth Acevedo has the most gorgeous hardcovers I have ever seen in my entire life. And yeah, I was really excited to get a hold of this book and add to my Elizabeth Acevedo collection. For this next book, when I saw it on the shelf, my mouth under my mask literally went, because I have wanted this book for so long. Even though it's only been out since 2019, like, I don't know, it's been a book that I've really wanted, but I just haven't seen out in the wild. So when I saw it, it was very opportune for me. And the book in question is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. And not only is this cover and spine really, really pretty, but it is also a memoir. And I've been wanting to expand my reading outside of just like my fantasy and contemporaries and read more nonfiction. And this is a really interesting one. In the Dream House is Carmen's account of a relationship gone bad and a bold dissection of the mechanisms and cultural representations of psychological abuse. Machado traces the full arc of a harrowing relationship with a charismatic but volatile woman and struggles to make sense of how what happened to her shaped the person she was becoming. Each chapter in this inventive memoir is driven by its own narrative trope, the haunted house, erotica, the Bildungsroman, through which Machado holds her story up to the light and examines it from different angles. The result is a wrenching, riveting book that explodes our ideas about what a memoir can do and be. I literally love this so much. It's almost like a choose your own adventure memoir style because at the end of some pages it says, if you choose this, go to this page, or if you choose this, go to this other page. That's not on every single page, but the fact that that is what I'm seeing on some of the pages is so exciting. I literally love that. And I really, really like how it's laid out. Like it has almost looks like short stories. And I just want to say I love that the dedication in this book says, if you need this book, it is for you. And I just think that's really special. I really enjoy that. And it's making me even more excited to pick this up. The next book that I got, which I've had on my wish list like since it was a pre-order and I finally saw it out in the open, I obviously snatched it up right away. And that is Punching the Air by Ibi Zoboi and Yusuf Salaam. And this one is written in verse, which I am super, super excited about, as well as reading the powerful story that it tells. In this story, we follow our main character, Amal, who has always been an artist and a poet. But even in a diverse art school, because of a biased system, he's seen as disruptive and unmotivated. Then, one fateful night, an altercation in a gentrifying neighborhood escalates into tragedy. Boys just being boys turns out to be true only when the boys are white. Suddenly, at just 16 years old, Amal is convicted of a crime he didn't commit and is sent to prison. Despair and rage almost sink into him until he turns to the refuge of his words, his art. This never should have been his story. But can he change it? And like I said before, since it's written in verse, it makes me even more excited to pick it up. The next book that I got at the indie bookstore is The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This is another cover that I am just absolutely in love with. I think it's so beautiful. I'm not a fan of the deckled edges, but it's fine. I've seen this book mentioned in a couple people's lists of like feminist books here on BookTube, And the quote on the back from Laini Taylor says, "A gorgeous and thrilling paean to the ferocious power of woman. The characters live, bleed, and roar." In 1893, there's no such thing as witches. There used to be in the wild dark days before the burnings began, but now witching is nothing but tidy charms and nursery rhymes. If the modern woman wants any measure of power, she must find it in the ballot box. But when the Eastwood sisters join the suffragists in New Salem, they begin to pursue the forgotten words and ways that might turn the women's movement into the witches' movement. Stalked by shadows and sickness, hunted by forces that will not suffer a witch to vote, and perhaps not even to live, the sisters will need to delve into the oldest magics, draw new alliances, and heal the bond between them if they want to survive. There's no such thing as witches, but there will be. I love this quote at the top too. It says, "I am terrified and I am terrible. I am fearful and I am something to be feared." Not gonna lie, I'm a little confused from the synopsis, but hey, this might be one that I learn more about as I read on, and I'm okay with that. I'm looking forward to it. It's really pretty, and I've heard some good things about it. The next book that I got, and one that Caleb has already stolen from me because he wanted to read it, is Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I remember seeing this book once, I think in Books and Lala's video, like before I even had a BookTube channel, and I don't think that she liked it a lot, but like, it sounds really interesting to me, and from what people are saying on Goodreads, from what I looked into, some people didn't like it because it has some stream of consciousness writing, kind of like journal-esque style, and that's why they rated it low, but like, I really like stream of consciousness, so like, I think that there's a good chance that I'll enjoy this book. Not only because of that, but also because of what it's about. And Caleb's like, I don't know, 40 pages in or something, and he's saying that it's super creepy and that he thinks that I would like it. So I'm really excited about it. It says, Area X has been cut off from the rest of the world for decades. Nature has reclaimed the last vestiges of human civilization. The first expedition returned with reports of a pristine, Edenic landscape. The second expedition ended in mass suicide. The third in a hail of gunfire as its members turned on one another. The members of the 11th expedition returned as shadows of their former selves, and within weeks all had died of cancer. And in this volume of Annihilation, we joined the 12th expedition. The group is made up of 4 women, an anthropologist, a surveyor, a psychologist, and a de facto leader, and our narrator, a biologist. Their mission is to map the terrain, record all observations of their surroundings and of one another, and, above all, avoid being contaminated by Area X itself. They arrive expecting the unexpected, and Area X delivers. But it's the surprises that come across the border with them and the secrets that the expedition members are keeping from one another that change everything. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it sounds pretty darn cool. I like that it's a trilogy, and all of the books in the trilogy are relatively short, so that's also nice. And I just love this cover so much. I think it's really awesome, and I'm just looking forward to it. I think it sounds pretty cool. Alright, there are 3 other books left on this list, and one of them was a 2021 release that I was super excited to see out in the wild again, and that is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. And this book takes place with some of the same characters from The Hate U Give, also by Angie Thomas, but this is 17 years before that story. And in this one, we follow Maverick Carter when he was 17 years old. And in order to help his mother, who is working 2 jobs while his dad is in prison, he is dealing for the King Lords. He feels like he has everything kind of under control until he finds out he's going to be a father. It's not so easy to sling dope, finish school, and raise a child, so when he's offered the chance to go straight, he takes it. In a world where he's expected to amount to nothing, maybe Mav can prove he's different. When King Lord blood runs through your veins, though, you can't just walk away. Loyalty, revenge, and responsibility threaten to tear Mav apart, especially after the brutal murder of a loved one. He'll have to figure out for himself what it really means to be a man. And I read The Hate U Give last year, and I love that book so much. Not only was that story incredible, but Angie Thomas's writing style is just one of my favorites, honestly. She knows the perfect times to put in the comedic relief, while also keeping the tone of the story when it's needed to be very serious and real. So I am very, very excited to dive back into the characters of The Hate U Give in a different way, as well as experience her writing style once again. The last 2 books of this video go together because I am one of those people that I buy the whole series before I've read it or really know what it's about. And so the books in question is Queen of the Conquered and King of the Rising, and these are part of the Islands of Blood and Storm duology, both by Kaysen Callender. If you didn't know, Kaysen Callender is also the author of Felix Ever After, which I read sometime last year, and I loved it so much. I loved their writing style, and I just loved the story and the content matter in it. But this duology is one of their earlier works, and I'm very excited to learn about it. I don't want to look too much on the back of what the second book has in store for us, because I think that we need to know about the first one first. You know? And the synopsis isn't too extensive, but it does say, on the islands of Hans Lalick, Sojourner Rose was the only survivor when her family was massacred by the colonizers. Now, the king of the islands has declared that he will choose his successor from the among eligible noble families, and Sojourner is ready to exact her revenge. This is a powerful story of colonialism, conquest, and revenge. Queen of the Conquered starts a riveting epic fantasy duology set in a Caribbean-inspired world. The quote on the top says, I want to prove to them that they were wrong to underestimate me. I want to see them burn for what they did to my family. And we love revenge stories. Yes, we do. And then King of the Rising is the second book in the duology, but I'm not going to tell you about what it says on the back because I don't even want to read it because you need to read the first one first. I don't want any spoilers, okay? I really loved Kaysen Callender's writing in Felix Ever After, so I am really looking forward to digging into a fantasy world duology from them. And yeah, it should be super fun. And those are all of the books that I got from the little independent bookstore here in my town. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. If you are still watching, then leave the rose emoji down below in the comments. And let me know if you've read any of these books and if you loved them or not. Don't forget to subscribe down below, like the video. I always appreciate your support. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading.